The story of Ferdowsi. Ferdowsi is one of the very oldest poet of Iran, and his works are very interesting, very storytelling, and old times his stories usually was telling in the how we can say chai khane in Persian, like in a coffee shop. And there was a special people, like as an actors. They were just telling all the stories, which was about love, about war, about all this stuff that happening around that time. I always was dreaming about how can I bring these stories on stage, but not only with dance. So I was thinking, how can I do that? And usually all those storytellers were men. Lately I saw a little clip that in Iran, a lady doing this storytelling, especially right now is in Iran, doing that is just really amazing. And I loved it. I said, I have to do that. Searched a lot about the different kind of stories that going on in this big book they called SHAN NAMEN, Book of King. That is all stories about the kings. And basically some people translate it as because it was so nice, they call it king, means the best book of the stories. So I chose this love story, which is about Zal and Rudabeh, and tried to tell the story not only by dance movement, with music going to connect it with the storytelling going to connect it with dance, and all together is going to be a combination of a multi-layer. The story is a boy who born albino.
Because he was born albino, so his father was the king of Iran. He basically was under pressure, so he disowned the child and left it in the mountains, and it was picked up by Simorg, who is a bird, but is also a symbol of wisdom.
What happened started to take care of him, and he grew up by this mythic bird.
It gives him 3 feathers, so he can set them on fire whenever he needs Simorg's help.
The father had a dream that your son is alive, and you should go and take him back.
His father regrets what he did, so they are building the relationship back together again.
The father, because felt very sorry about what he did, and he was ashamed, give him a part of town to rule.
And he falls in love with the daughter of their enemy territories, which is Turan, so it's between Iran and Turan.
One day he's playing archery and it falls into the other side of the court, Rudabeh's chambers, and the maidens go ahead and they, oh my gosh, who's this guy? He's a prince, like let them meet. So they meet, they fall in love, and
they go tell Rudabeh about it, and Rudabeh's all excited, and one of the secret, like, most trusted maidens sets up a secret meeting
for them to meet together.
And they meet and they fall in love.
So they were not supposed to see each other, they're not supposed to fall in love together. So they start to see each other in a secret way, and they fall in love and they say, we have to get married.
And there is this deep transcendental love between them, and it's love at first sight.
But then when her mother finds out, oh no, and she becomes suspicious, she goes through all her clothes, and do you want a war to happen? Do you know what will happen to you if your father finds out? So what Zal does is he decides to write a letter to the king of the other side, and so
asking to marry
the daughter.
It becomes the catalyst for both nations and all the leaders within them.
And because you abandoned me, you owe me, you have to allow me.
They leave behind the whole, how do you call it, all the problems they have basically. all the animosity.
For that reason, they allowed them to get married.
And in the end, there's a huge wedding where the two families like unite because they're totally different. It's like Romeo and Juliet.
So from the marriage of these two, Rustam going to born. So it's a very important person in the whole, So like Hercules. Rustam is like a Hercules in Persian fables. Chose music from different composers and mostly Middle Eastern composers. Some are non-Western, and live music is going to be played percussionist. I have a contemporary ballet. The theme is Persian. So because I'm a Persian, Armenian Persian, so I know the movements. So I took the bits and pieces of the color of the movement and the attitude, and like if they are, for example, in this palace and how they were acting in front of their ladies. So I took those little movements and turned into the contemporary ballet.
We have a few different movements. Well, one is, you go, her face, she's so tall. Her hair, and then another one we write out Zal's name and Rudabeh's name.
Some people saying you see too much. I even see it colorful, but when you go to the room to start to create based on the person that's standing in front of you, things changing. It's not always what you dream or see or have it in your head. So it's changing, and sometimes even from the wrong way doing things coming up, and we're just saying, oh, this is interesting, let's skip this. I'm an artist. I like to create, and I like to put my creation on the plate, and I like people to come and say, oh, I liked it, I didn't, and I like to hear what they're saying. Because of that communication, I might find my real direction that I want to go, because we always learn. Every day we learn. I'm working for 37 years, I'm creating for 37 years. I still am learning, and I still like to, I'm not one of those artists to say, I don't care, I create, let them to come or don't, or like or don't. I like to know, communicate with my audience.